best sides in the world, and they certainly think that they've got the belief to go very far in the competition. And I just know that it's a fantastic occasion for the likes of hopefully maybe myself and the rest of the guys in our team to put ourselves up against some of the best players in the world and ultimately one of the best teams in the world. And yeah, there's that added touch maybe personally to play against some mates and enjoy hopefully a game against England. The momentum of it comes in as the game gets nearer. Certainly we've had conversation over the months, if not even years, since qualifying about who's going to be in our group, watching them, seeing where they're about, whether it be the Six Nations or summer internationals. You get an idea of the players as well, as I say, just by playing with them and against them. But ultimately, it's I think really about focusing on ourselves. If we worry about ourselves and do what we do really well, then we believe that we can give sides a run for their money and ultimately, hopefully, come out on top. Well, they are taking rugby, the growth of rugby, really seriously, and they want to do well and host a very good tournament, the Japanese side and the Japanese country. So for us, it's going to be very exciting playing in a stage that ultimately is going to be, let's say the best of the world is going to be there, the best teams, the best players, and in a location that is, is going to be inspiring ultimately. And I think the other thing with Japan is maybe it's going to be a bit hot, maybe a bit humid. I like to think we're a bit used to that after playing games in Texas or in Colorado in the US. So maybe that can play into our favour. We'll certainly be training in altitude and in the heat. But ultimately, it's a rugby pitch with a rugby ball with 15 players on each side. It's the same game, so whatever the place, I'm sure it'd be a tough outing. For me, it was going back to early 2018 when I got my first cap, and it was actually against Canada. So our sort of rivals, our neighbours, noisy neighbours, and we managed to win that day. But for me personally, it's my dad's side of the family, from my grandparents who are American, and for me, it really, I'm emotionally attached to that moment that I'm doing it for them. They're no longer with us, but I had a really good relationship. My grandmother was born and raised in California, and I know whenever I put that jersey on and sing the national anthem, it means a lot to me, my family, and knowing that, ultimately she's up there and hopefully being very proud seeing me wear the stars and bars, as they say. So it's a big moment and one that I'll never forget when I first put on that shirt. Well, I'm a kicker, so obviously I get out there quite early. I make sure that I have my routine, kicking routine, as I think all kickers do around the world. But I try and stay away from rituals. There's certain things, I guess, when you put your socks, some players put their left sock on first, right? So I'm not so much too bothered about that. I think you have too many rituals, then if one ritual mucks up, then you get thrown off key a bit. So for me, it's not so much about rituals, but more about sort of routine of making sure I've gone through my warm-up. The rhythm of your kicks, whether it be kicking a goal or kicking out of hand, is just feeling comfortable. You're going to have nerves, the anticipation, the anxiety you're going to have before the game, but ultimately, if you can just get yourself into that zone of being you and trusting your routine, and that always just comes in the warm-up. So by the time that, as I say, the whistle does come, you trust what the practice you've done and you're ready to go. I think intense. It's going to be intense. Just it's a massive, worldwide tournament. That's going to be, of course, with a lot of nerves and excitement with it. I think pride in the jersey, pride in representing your country and ultimately being there at the world stage. And then probably finally, enjoyment. Ultimately, why would you not want to be there? And that hopefully can, when those nerves are just before the game, you can remind yourself why we play this game. It's for moments like this. And yeah, the enjoyment of being with your mates, playing for your country is got to be enjoyable. Well, I guess the All Blacks, New Zealand, just rugby over in New Zealand. I remember when we played the New Zealand Maoris, you realise it's just part of their sort of DNA, and they play the game so well, and they're the best side in the world for a reason, and ultimately they're going after their third consecutive World Cup on the trot. So, and someone like Beauden Barrett, I think he's just a quality outside half, or even if you put him at fullback, skills he has, the pace he has, and just the sort of, he can turn a game on its head. I think also I probably will have to say, to be fair, England and Owen Farrell. I think Farrell just knows what it's like to turn up and play in big games, and he performs, whether that's with his boot, with his defence, or whether it's just general organisation. He's a quality act, and certainly when we hopefully get the chance obviously to play England, we know just the threat that he is and the quality that he is as well. I think just generally at the end of a game, and obviously especially in big matches when you've just got jubilation over someone winning, and then you've got the side that's had the loss, and they're on the floor, hands and heads, and it's always, I think in rugby you always see, as much as people celebrate, they go up to those people and sort of shake their hand and say, congratulations, well done, and tough luck, because ultimately in our sport and in all sport there's a winner and a loser, and someone's going to win a World Cup, someone's going to lose it right at the final hurdle. So I don't know if it's really like a moment, but it's that sort of feeling of sympathy, and ultimately everyone knows, everyone works really hard, and we know the sort of effort that I know we will go through, and I know other sides will go through, and therefore you have sympathy therefore when someone doesn't quite make it. I think when we beat Scotland in Houston last summer in June 2018, that day was just incredible, in the hot, sticky Houston heat in the evening, and we believed we could go and beat Scotland. It was our USA's first win against a Tier 1 nation, and we just performed that day, and I really believe we deserved it. Everything we've been working for came off, and it's just with the guys at the end. I remember just in a hotel, just having some drinks with everyone at the end. It went on late hours in the morning, but it was that moment realising just what we could do, and the ability that the US, we're not here to make up the numbers, we're here to challenge, and ultimately we're good enough to be challenging as well, and certainly that's what we want to do at the World Cup, and hopefully have more moments like we did against Scotland.